My friends, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Let's jump in here and do an update. I didn't do an update since I believe Wednesday of last week, so things have changed just a little bit on a couple names. Obviously, we're getting into a lot of earnings this week from a lot of the big boy companies, so just kind of wanted to jump in here, give you some levels that I'm going to be watching for overall. Before we do that, you guys know the drill. Nothing I'm giving you is financial advice. I want you to make awesome decisions for yourself, your family, and your portfolio. And that is it. That is all. I want to cover a whole bunch of setups. If you haven't done so already, please follow me on Twitter, Colin_Gladman. That's going to be the easiest way to get intraday updates. Also, too, if things change drastically and I don't have time, that's where I'm going to be posting if I think anything has drastically changed. So please make sure you follow me there. Also, too, we are at the end of the month, so I'm going to be opening up my private trading Discord now. If you want to join that, yes, it is a subscription service that you can cancel anytime on a monthly basis. If you want to join that, shoot me a DM on Twitter requesting the link. Those are actually going to start going out as soon as I'm done with this video. So having said that, let's jump into SPY. So the reality is a SPY pretty much between that kind of 579 to about 585. We've been very range bound here. I think we're going to get that push up with all the earnings that we've got going on. We got all the big boys going on this week. So also, too, we're exiting that window of weakness into the end of the year. We're going to get the election behind us Tuesday of next week. So overall, I still feel very confident about my price targets of 600 plus into the end of the year on SPY. As of right now, you can kind of see here, we're sort of building out this sort of bull flag look with this push up, bouncing around in here. We're already gapping above today's close based off of Google earnings has come out and AMD earnings has come out. We'll jump into those charts in just a second. So really what I want to see from here is I want to see that day that really breaks us out of that range, potentially kind of a gap and go day where we really push up strong. The volume is increasing here. We already got volume coming back into the market. Here, I want to see us stay, no matter what, we need to stay above this 579.73. If you remember from my previous videos, this is going to be the area, and this is where I took SPY calls today off of my small account in the Discord. So once we bounced off of here and we recovered 580, I took SPY calls at for 581 tomorrow, close those out at 30%. They actually ran, well, now they're going to be up even more, but then they ran up to about 80% intraday. But on the small account, you got to be smart about your entries and when you exit your losses and when you take profits, and don't look back. So that's what I'm looking for. I want a daily close above kind of this 583 level. You can see it has been, we had that exhaustion gap and then we've kind of been ping-ponging around in here. So I really want a daily close that's going to start taking out these wicks up here in the 584 to 585 range. QQQ looks great. We bounced off the daily 9 today, really breaking out. I told the team I really wanted a strong daily close above that 497, and we got it. We got even better, right? We got up to 500. So now the next thing is going to be we want a daily close above previous all-time highs, back over here in this 503, and then we're in price exploration territory. I do expect there's probably going to be some stickiness up in here, much like NVDA. When we first came up here, tested its previous all-time highs, we got some rejection, some breakthroughs, some consolidation. So I do expect that overall, some stickiness in this territory, but I feel very good about it pushing up towards that 525, even potentially 550 by the end of the year. But that would be, an aggressive target. But overall, I like it. Any dips back down towards 497, in my opinion, are going to be very viable, especially once we get past post-election. Once we get to now, let's move on to IWM. So beautiful support resistance flip. We pushed up towards that 225 to 228 area. We got rejected. We came back down. In my last video, I said we just want 218 to hold, even though we dipped below it. We pushed right back up, and in the next 2 days didn't even quite get back down to it, and then now we're pushing back up. So I do expect overall IWM. I like what I saw today, even with disappointing reactions to earnings like SoFi. You still got that dip snatched up overall. You closed above your 921. Overall, I definitely am expecting a move back towards that 225 area, and then just getting some daily closes back up in here is going to be key for continuation. For Tesla, This reminds me very much of, well, let me just jump over here to OKLO's chart, right? So you had that big massive move on OKLO. Then you had a couple of days of consolidation, pulling back, flagging back into the EMAs. But here's what I want to see on Tesla overall continue. So you got that big push up on nice volume. Then as you corrected and pulled back into your 921s, what happened, right? That daily volume just dropped off. Then it starts to curl back up. Then you get that nice 28% move day on OKLO. Volume starts pouring back in. And now, as we call it in the Discord, you get those J hook patterns, right? Where you just kind of push up, consolidate, make that J hook, and then continue back up. As far as OKLO goes, on a short-term basis, which is what I was telling the team this morning multiple times, is that you just want to see that 2250 hold. So these previous daily resistance, so 3 days worth of resistance, you can see OKLO came back down into that support area right around the 2250 and then continue to push back up. So overall, I like that. Want to see if it continues to base off of 2250. I think it'll continue to send. I really think 30 is going to be very doable probably pretty soon, to be honest with you. So we just covered OKLO. So now let's jump back into Tesla. Same idea, right? We had that big push up post earnings, 2 really nice days. Now I just want to see that consolidation and start to slowly J-hook as these 921s catch back up. Honestly, as you can see drawn out here, I wanted to see this previous, this kind of falling resistance line hold. It closed right on it on Monday. And then today we gapped above and then we pushed back down. Then I told the team I wanted to see Friday's open hold. I still have some calls here, full disclosure. So I told the team I really want to see this Friday low hold, and let's see here, that low was 255.32 and 255.51. So pretty much a picture perfect double bottom. However, once again, full disclosure, not really seeing the reaction that I wanted to here, right? You would want to see once you get this nice hammer candle. So even on the hourly volume price analysis, we had that volume start to dry out. Then we had a nice hammer candle here, and then volume just stayed super low. Yes, I know that people like Kathy Wood, and there's some board members that are having to do their their retirement, their qualified retirement plans. So they're having to take some profits. So that might be what you're seeing a little bit here. But go back to the daily and seeing exactly what I want to see. I want to see that volume continue to dry out. So it might be another 2 to 3 days, maybe even the rest of this week in consolidation. And as these EMAs start to catch up, if we go down to the lower time frame, you can see the 4 hours just now starting to catch up. And the 4 hour actually has a bullish inside bar on it. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. Got to hold that key psychological level of 250. 250 has been a big one for a long period of time. But worst case scenario, when in doubt, zoom out, right? Gapped above, touched its all-time high trend line. You can see from back over here, November 2021, that falling resistance. For those of you that are always asking me, why is my trend line so different? Learn to chart in log scale, not linear scale. But clearly, after earnings, dipped right back down into that all-time high territory and then had a really nice push up. I entered my Tesla calls. I would believe it was like 251-ish, right in there. So overall, not this today was definitely not the day that I hoped for or really wanted to see another push back up. But the fact that the volume is getting sucked out, low volume, want to see probably the next couple of days, certainly by the end of this week, I'm going to need to see some daily closes up here in the 260 again for me to hang on to my calls, though. Otherwise, going to take profit on the rest of them. For Coin's got earnings tomorrow. I really would have liked to have jumped into some calls on this retest here. So when it gapped above that 212 and it retested, earnings is going to be big. But I really think Coin, especially when you see what Bitcoin is doing right now, really think Coin has the opportunity to push back up into the 240s, 260s. However, if earnings don't go well, I have no position before. If earnings don't go well, I would love to see that number that I've talked about multiple times back down to around 180. Especially if it's kind of getting AMD'd, where AMD wasn't like super disappointing. Earnings pretty much came in line, but getting smacked down. So if Coin has decent earnings and gets smacked back down to around that 180 mark, there's a very good chance I'll take some calls for the end of the year. But it's expensive, so let that IV get crushed out of it if you're taking any type of positions. In my opinion, it's just not worth it going into earnings. because not only do you got to be right, you got to be really right for it to pay off for you. Like I said, NVIDIA, the daily supply from its all-time highs, or excuse me, what was daily supply, I like that it's starting to show that support resistance flip. It's getting bought up, pretty much kind of creating, that pennant look up here. So it might do some consolidating up in here until its earnings. Clearly, you've got other chip earnings that are going to help be a catalyst, one way or the other. But I mean, I think it's going to do well come earning time. I really do. No position for me right now on it, but I like the way it's holding that support resistance. Once again, going back to OKLO, this is how you it's really not that hard, guys, right? Make sure you know exactly where your major support resistance flips are, and you want to see those hold once they break through. And came back down, took care of this imbalance. So, I mean, this imbalance right here is exactly what I would like to see coin do. I'd like to see it take out that imbalance before pushing up. So this little imbalance right here, I'd like to see that taken out before pushing up. If I do, great. If it doesn't, also cool, right? But NVIDIA, any dips back into the 140s have been very viable so far. EMU, quick little update, been holding that 107, but I really want to see it look good above its 200-day moving average. That's going to be that blue line that you see here. Where's its 50-day at? Yeah, so it's already above its 50-day. So I want to see this continued curl up on the 50-day. And then when that 50-day and that 200 cross, that's a golden cross. Very good sign for the stock. Kind of one of those algos start buying when that kind of stuff happens. But what I'd be looking for here is this overall kind of ascending triangle look. Probably build out till NVIDIA earnings, but into the end of the year, I still really like this setup on MU. Overall, like it as long as it's over that 107 number. It came down, it took care of that gap that I wanted it to. You saw a nice recovery, still consolidating up in here though, but overall, that's what I would be watching for. Let's jump to AMD. So it looks like as of right now, I love the Sorry guys, anytime my mic flickers like that, it's been acting up on the recording, so I don't want to lose the video. AMD, as of right now, it's getting smacked on earnings. I love the fact that it recovered that 164.50 level into earnings. Was really hoping it was going to gap up. I literally have one call for the December at 170 that left. That was my runner into earnings. That's going to be very smacked come open tomorrow. As long as it holds 150, I'll still like it overall. I bought time on this because anytime you are holding a play into earnings, you always want to make sure that you have time, unless it's a pure lotto play. With earnings not being well received, the big thing is what does it look like come tomorrow morning? What you want to see is, and if I come over here and you can see that falling resistance, right? I already talked about the previous false breakout where it had to come down and take care of liquidity pools. So if it starts to sell off, right, then you got to watch for your liquidity pools being taken out. More than likely, what I think would happen is if this does sell out, I think you'd probably get the 133 taken out, but you probably won't get this one taken out. I think it would probably recover. Overall, if we look at our discount zone on AMD from this overall move, then you start getting into that. Well, you start getting into the discount zone at 145. But really, what looks good is anything at that 618 or below. So I do think it's possible that 786 at 131. That's what I would be looking for as a potential holdout. But we're a long ways from that. 150 is a key number that it obviously held back here. Remember I said that this common gap right here, it came down, took care of that at 150. So I like that it held 150, even though it's having a disappointing reaction to earnings right now. It's still holding 150 after hours. So just tomorrow, once regular trading hours opens up, you just want to see that dip get snatched up and start pressing that 164.50 level again. Sometimes after you have bad reaction to earnings, if it doesn't, it might cool off. Give it that 3-day rule. Worst case scenario, right, you're kind of looking for this rising wedge slash bear flag to play out. And the way I would measure that move is going from this top to the bottom, back up to the top. So that move plays out around, 112. But look at that. That 618 is right there at 133. So that would be the first. If it gets smacked, 133 is going to be the place that I would personally look at going long again. If it looks like it's going to lose 150 tomorrow and the daily close below 150, that's when I would consider taking out my January calls. Amazon, guys, this one I talked about the potential false breakdown, right? And now it's pushing up, and then with good Google earnings, it is gapping up even more. So I still love the look of Amazon. I said multiple times, if there was going to be an earnings I would gamble on into end of the year, it would be Amazon. I still think it looks fantastic. Once again, not financial advice. Trade your plan. I'm not going to play. Or if I am, I'm going to be like one or two cons, and I'll tell you what, I'll post it on my Twitter if I do decide to play it come earnings. I'd much rather look at the move afterwards. But this is a fantastic setup with Amazon into the end of the year. Google right now just never got the entry that I was looking for, and that's okay. Sometimes you're going to miss entries. So want to see it's going to be opening up in this big bear gap down territory. I would expect some stickiness up here where it is going to be opening. The measured move off of this right now, if you already are in calls or anything like that, congratulations, is about 183. So right now it's chilling right about at 786. Outsized moves are going to be towards all-time highs. I still think overall into the year, Google's probably going to see all-time highs into the end of the year. But just if you're interested in playing in it, either grab yourself some shares where they have no expiration date, or certainly let that IV cool off. Last but not least, Celsius. So I started my position here. No, I'm not going to disclose what it is. I don't ever want to be accused of being a pumper or anything along those lines, but I did start a position on this. Right now, it got the sweep exactly of what I wanted. Today was not obviously as good as what I would have wanted. I really wanted a move back up towards this 34, 35 area, but I'm not even going to consider closing out my contracts unless I start getting daily closes below this beautiful double bottom on the liquidity sweep. And if it's a failed move, it's a failed move. You tip your cap to the market or to the people on the opposite side of the trade with you, and you move on with your life, right? Capital preservation will be key. If I do get a daily close below there, at worst, I'll probably be losing like maybe 15 to 20% of the position. Is what it is. Very small position for me. Really, I don't have any large positions out there right now, except for Tesla. My Tesla call position is still relatively big, but I got a lot of time on that. All right. I hope this video was helpful to you. You know the deal. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please follow me on Twitter. Much love. Hope this was helpful to you. Make great decisions for yourself, your family, and your portfolio, and I will see you soon. Have a good one, my friends.